Hi everybody and welcome to the May Q&A video here on the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel. I'm Andrew Rhodes, also known as Web Designer 18. I'd like to thank everybody for submitting your questions throughout the month. I appreciate it. Since the last Q&A video, I do appreciate it. Thank you all so much. I have 12 questions to go through this month. And don't forget, if you want to submit a question, feel free to. You can drop it in my videos, in the comments section, I usually say between this Q&A video and my deadline. It makes it easier, but some people can just drop them in the other ones. I can just filter it out in the comments thing in the YouTube studio when it's working, right? But I can still look for them. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to this channel, be notified. I usually will post up a thing, hey, there's channel update, or I'll put down Q&A timeline coming up. Don't forget to submit your questions like I did this time. So don't forget to subscribe so you'll get those notifications, like a little post that I can put up in the community tab. But otherwise, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I take your questions so long as they don't violate the two topics I will never talk about on this channel, which are politics and religion. And I will basically give you my thoughts and answers on them to the best of my ability. And that's pretty much about it. For those of you that don't know, now you know. So welcome to the Q&A, and let's get started. So question number 1 is, what do you think about TikTok? I'm not a fan of it. I know what it is. Apparently some of my coworkers, like some of the high school kids, will do TikTok at work. I was told by the one supervisor. I should say the one manager. I don't really know what the hell it is, other than it's a site you can upload like 10-second clips. That's about it. Do I find it interesting? No. But that's probably because I'm not the target demographic for it. This would definitely be a demographic for like high school kids and middle schoolers, and I'm not either of those. I'm 30 years old. I am not what they would consider a, full-on, I don't fall into that demographic, basically. So there is that. But yeah, so I mean, I know about it, but I don't like it. It's not for me. How do you feel about collaborating with other YouTubers now that you have been doing that for a while? I haven't actually been collaborating with any YouTubers. I was nice and did a thing for the weeknight update, and I was helping them out for a little bit, but that's not exactly a collaboration. That's just me lending some assistance. There's a difference between lending assistance and collaborating. Collaborating would be like what Pat the NES Punk and the Angry Video Game Nerd did, where they would each be in each other's videos and they would help out or like do a thing for the videos. For me, I'm just helping. I was just nice. I updated their logo for them. I made them some intros and outros. I did some lines. That was helping. That wasn't collaborating. Collaborating is like, here, let me give you some ideas, integrate these into your show, like wholeheartedly. Not, here's an intro, here's some outros, and I'll record some lines for you. That's not exactly collaborating. That's more or less, here, I'll lend you some assistance. You basically told me what you're looking for, and I'm just lending you some assistance. That's not collaborating, that's assisting. There is a bit of a difference. But I mean, I wouldn't mind collaborating with some YouTubers, like, down the road, but for now, I'm mostly a solo operation because I operate solely out of my room. This is a one-person room. So, yeah, it's kind of a fruitless endeavor to have an extra person in here, try to get other people in here. So collaborating with other YouTubers isn't exactly something that's in the cards right now for me, but maybe down the road, but as of right now, not really. So there is that. But still, possibility. You mentioned that you love the Loud House a lot, but why do you love it? The plot, the art style, the animation, the characters, minus the ones that I will agree with Mr. Enter are a bit annoying. Basically, like 2 of them. It's an interesting show. And basically, anything that can go toe-to-toe with SpongeBob SquarePants, or as I like to call him, the little yellow bastard, and can actually whoop his ass, I'm all for. Wholeheartedly, I'm all for it. anything that can go up against that little yellow bastard and whoop his ass, I'm all for it. The Loud House is an interesting show. I do like it a lot. I have not seen it from start to finish, like a whole series so far. I've seen a couple episodes here and there. I've seen some clips here and there. I watched like maybe half an episode when I was at a McDonald's once. So yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I like what I've seen. It's got my attention. Basically, you have the whole plot of it's basically one. It just deals with the Loud family, and you have basically the one kid. He's the only son in a family of daughters, and I just find that so hilarious in a way. It just reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons when Bart wanted to be an older brother, and he ended up kind of kidnapping the orphan. And at the end of it, the orphan ended up getting sent to a house, a family full of nothing but girls. And he's like, "No, save me, Bart, save me," as he's driving off into the distance. I kind of think that was another one of the I think that was another one of Fox's The Simpsons predicted it first. But I like the show. It is pretty cool. I mean, the characters are interesting. You have Lincoln. I mean, I don't know every single one of them by name either, but mind you. But I know Lincoln Loud, his parents, and his sisters. Honestly, it's not a bad show. I do like it. The plot of it's pretty good. The art in it is really good. It fits what it's trying to do. It's not like other shows where the art had to blend itself in, like Adventure Time on Cartoon Network, where the art had to blend itself in to match what the story was selling. In this case, the story knew what it wanted, and the art showed that. It wasn't the art had to adjust itself for the story. It was the story and the art both mixed perfectly with this. There was no question about it. There's just so much good about it, and I get tired of people ragging on it, but people are going to act the way they want to act about it. They want to complain about it, be my guest, but just know that I like it. I think it's cool. I have no issue at all with the Loud House whatsoever. I think it's great. And mostly any show that can go up against SpongeBob motherfucking SquarePants and whoop his ass is kudos in my book. It is kudos in my book. It is. It's kudos in my book. Okay, what was your favorite show to watch on PBS when you were a kid? Shining Time Station. I did like that show a lot when I was a kid. And I know my mom, I will make sure she watches this video. Come hell or high water, she will watch this. She will probably put down in the comments the other one I'm thinking of. I can't think of the other conductor's name. I wasn't a fan of when Ringo Starr was the conductor, but when they got the person to replace him, apparently I thought it was really good. And then when I pulled up episodes on YouTube, like early last year, I was like, oh my god, it was better. My mom wasn't lying. It was better. So that was pretty cool. But I liked that show. It was kind of interesting. I also used to watch Dudley the Dragon on PBS. I thought that was pretty cool too. Otherwise, I didn't watch a lot of PBS when I was a kid. I mostly watched Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. Occasionally Fox, because I would watch Power Rangers, Big Bad Beetleborgs. I would watch VR Troopers, Samurai Pizza Cats, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and all that stuff. But mostly when I was a kid, I just watched Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Occasionally Fox, like weekday afternoons, Saturday mornings, then the WB for when they had anime and good cartoons on, like Cubix. I'm gonna think of one, and it's not gonna. I used to watch Toon Disney, or no, first it was ABC Family, because that was really cool when I was a kid. But most of the time when I was a kid, it was just Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Fox. That's what I watched. Yeah, otherwise, not much else. I mean, I didn't fully watch PBS when I was a kid. I mean, I watched it like the channel that was PBS with my cable provider. We would watch Britcoms. Like Monday nights was Keeping Up Appearances. Tuesday nights was Are You Being Served? And that was about it. But my tastes when I was a kid changed. Eventually, I would watch more like shows that were geared towards my mom's age range, like for adults, not like triple X rated or R rated. Though my one uncle did take me to a bunch of R-rated movies when I was a kid, so I mean that was cool. When you were a kid, you'd go to an R-rated movie. You were like the cool kid. I went to R-rated movies and it just didn't faze me. It's just like, why is this rated R? If it's R stands for really good, then this is really good. Most of the time the movies were all right, but there were just some that were a little stupid, and I'm just like, meh, I didn't like it. Meh, it was okay. But otherwise, yeah, I mostly just watched Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Fox when I was a kid. I didn't really gear towards PBS. Other than Sesame Street, I did apparently watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood until they started showing reruns, or so I've been told. I apparently watched Barney at some point, I guess. But my favorite shows, which is the question here, would be definitely Shining Time Station and Dudley the Dragon. Definitely. When you were a kid, what did you like to do for fun during the summer? During the summer, yeah. Okay, you mean during the 2 months, 3 weeks, or 2 months, 2 weeks that I had off for summer vacation, right? Because the thing was, my summer vacation when I was a kid, what bothered me, it always started, it was like June 6th or June 7th it started. And then I would have to spend, I would get like the rest of June, I would get the whole month of July. Come the start of fucking August, we're going back to school shopping, boy. We're going backpack shopping, we're going clothes shopping, we're going to get you ready to go back to school, because literally the week after my birthday was always when we had to go back to school. It was usually like the 25th of August that I had to go back to school, and it always bothered me. Like the week of the 25th, I had to go back to school. So when I was a kid, having fun in the summertime, basically whatever I could use my imagination on. Most of the time, I'd just stay up late, watch TV, play outside, go to the movies. That's about it. I did not do a crap ton. I mean, we went to an amusement park a couple times. When I was in first and second grade, my mom and I went to the shore. We went to the New Jersey shore, but that was about it. Otherwise, I didn't do much of anything during my summer vacation. There was nothing really to do. I just sat at home, watched TV, bored out of my mind. That was it. As far as I was concerned, summer vacation was my 3-month reprieve from the prison that is school. And as far as I'm concerned, oh, cool, 3 months, I don't have to go to school. Then you realize that it's really like a little over 2 months once everything's said and done. It bothered the hell out of me about it, but it is what it is. But what I did for fun was mostly I would build my Legos, watch TV, go to the movies. That was literally about it. Just play outside. That was it. I didn't do a crap ton of stuff during the summer. I would just like stay up late, play with my toys. That was about it. There wasn't really a crap ton of stuff that I would do for fun. I didn't go many places when I was growing up. I never really got invited to a lot of birthday parties, so I'm not really a fan of parties. I didn't have any friends growing the hell up. Even the neighbor kid didn't want to deal with me. Literally, my next door neighbor didn't want to deal with me when he was around my age. He's younger than I am. He didn't want to deal with me. So it was like I didn't really hang out with him during the summer. I kept to myself. So there wasn't a lot of stuff that I did. Like I said, we went to an amusement park for like, I don't remember how many years we went there, but that was about it. We didn't do much of anything. That was literally it. I mostly just sat at home and did nothing. It's how my I thought I had a bug there on my arm. That's mostly how my summer went. I did nothing at all. So yeah. I thought I had a bug there. Oh, I did have a bug on my arm. Huh. Go figure. Alright, so let's see what the next question here is. Have you read any of the Fear Street or Ghosts of Fear Street books yet, written and ghostwritten by R.L. Stine? No. I don't have a chance to go to the bookstore. I don't do books online. I bought a... this is a fun story. I personally bought the 19th volume of Bakuman from Barnes & Noble. And I basically... Sorry about that. I wanted to fix my shirt there. I basically ordered it. They never took the money out of my account for the longest time. Then the book shows up. Then they take the money out. I literally had the book in my hand, looked at my PayPal account, and then the money got taken out for it. And that bothered me. So, yeah, I don't do books online. I don't. So, no, I haven't read any of those. The last, like I said, I've read some of the Goosebump books. Attack of the Mutants, one of my favorites, like my all-time favorite. Have I read any of his other stuff? No. I honest to God haven't. And that's mostly because I'm not a huge fan of, like, the horror stuff. I'm not a huge fan of scary stuff. It's not a genre that I'm particularly fond of. So, yeah, okay, R.L. Stine did a lot of the Goosebump books and the scary stories. And it's stuff that I'm just not 100% into. I didn't even know he technically did the Fear Street. I mean, I had heard of Fear Street in a way, but not 100% heard of it. It's like, okay, the name sounded familiar, but I didn't know anything about it. Like, it wasn't making the connection in my head. Or Ghosts of Fear Street books, I didn't know. So, I haven't really had a chance to read any of them. And as a lot of you know, with the thing that's been going on lately, a lot of places are still closed. So, I can't just up and go to my local bookstore, which is literally about 15, 16 miles away, and walk in, see if I can find any of the books, and then read them. And I'm not going to search for them online and have to pay to read them online when I could just go buy the physical book. Then if I hate it, I can just sell the physical book. Like, if it's not something that I enjoy, hey, look, I can turn and burn it. So I'll look into it, but I haven't read any of them. Sorry. In your opinion, what are the best and worst spin-offs of all time? Oh, ooh. Best and worst spin-offs. What's a good one? That actually is a good one. Holy hell. I don't really know. I really don't. I don't know. I really had to think about that. Like spin-offs wise here. Best or worst spin-offs of all time. I'm trying to even think of what spin-offs I would know off the top of my head. And I'm not coming up with anything. Shit, I'm drawing a blank here. Spin-offs. I mean, like, the only spin-off I could think of would technically be, like, the Cleveland Show and the Casa Grandes. Be about it. Most of the stuff that I know of, if it gets a spin-off, it's not bad. The best and the worst spin-offs of all time, in my opinion. That's a good one. That is. I think I actually could say this. You've actually stumped me. I actually don't know. Because, like I said, a lot of the spin-offs that I'm thinking, I don't really have any off the top of my head that I can come up with. So you can actually stump me on that one. I can safely say you've stumped me. Kudos to that. I don't have an answer. I honestly don't. That's one that I would really have to put some thought into. But I don't have an answer for that, actually. I really don't have an answer. I don't. Sorry. What are the secrets to having a successful TV spinoff? Okay, this I could probably answer, though. Don't pander to your audience. And by pander, I mean don't just give exactly what the audience wants. A lot of TV spin-offs, at least the ones that I'm thinking of, and I'm going to throw mostly anime here into the general mix of this, because, as I said with the past question, I don't know any spin-offs that I could think of. There are like a couple anime ones, but they're more like a sequel series, more or less a spin-off of the original. It's more like a sequel series. If you're going like that route, don't just give the audience what they want. If it's supposed to tell a story, like you're taking a character or something from it, don't just half-ass it. Don't just go, oh, we're going to do what the audience has suggested we do with that character. That's not what they want. What the audience wants is they want to have their own ideas shown, and what you, the writer and creator, would have to do is not go down that pathway. Don't just go, oh, we're going to up and do it the way they want it done to please them, because what you're doing is you're pleasing one group of people and pissing off another group of people. Like, one group of people might want this character to get together with this character, and the rest of the people watching the show may not want that to happen. That's where the fans become a mostly massive interference. But basically, what are the secrets of having a successful TV spinoff? Like I said, since I don't really know of many off the top of my head spinoff-wise, I would mostly just go, don't pander to the audience. If you want to tell a story with the characters, tell a story with the characters. Don't try to lump the old audience in unless you are sure that they're going to like this. Like, if you're taking a really popular character, I could probably go with, like, the Cleveland Show on this one. So it's like one of the only ones I could think of. They pandered to Cleveland Brown, and their entire thing was, we're going to focus an entire show on him. But the question was, how popular of a character was he in the Family Guy structure? And the answer was not very popular if they had to bring him back into the Family Guy fold when his own show ended. So it's one of those, don't drag characters into something and don't break them off unless you're sure that you're going to be able to provide them. And like I said, I've only got like maybe 3 shows I could think of that technically qualify as a spinoff, but I don't. That's all I can have, so I don't really have enough for a best and worst. But what would make a successful one, in my opinion, basically not screwing it up. Don't pander just to one character unless you know that character is going to be popular enough. Don't go with the flow of what the audience wants. Listen to what you want to have tell the story. Don't retcon his origin. Don't, like, yeah, I shouldn't really say his, but don't retcon the origin of the character. Like, if your character grew up in this town and you want to take them back to that town, don't retcon their origin and go, well, I was raised here for like 6 years, but I wasn't born here. And the other shows, like, I was born and raised in that town. Don't do that. That's basically retconning the origin of the character, and what you're going to do is alienate the fans that like the character. The setting's another thing. If you're going to change up, like, for a spinoff, how the setting would go, don't screw with the setting. Don't up and say, oh, well, you know, this show that they're originally from is taking place, like, let's say in California or on a space station, and then shove a whole new dimension in this where it's like, oh, well, now they're going to be dealing with things in a ship 650 miles under sea. You're literally changing too much of the story for it to be a massive spinoff, because none of the stuff would make any sense for it. Not a damn thing. So, but yeah, since I really couldn't answer the question 7. Question 8 is just basically my opinion for what would the secrets be for a successful spinoff. But basically, don't pander to your audience. Don't give them what they particularly want. Don't, I want to say, don't just change up too much of the character. Don't retcon their origin story just to suit your story that you have to write. And be cautious with how you place the setting of it. So that's what I have. That's about that. That's like the best answer I can give, actually. So number 9. I'm sorry if I had like. I'm sorry if I seemed like a little upset with number 6. I just don't read books that much. And 7, I really couldn't answer. And number 8 was just my opinion. So let's go with number 9. And I'm starting to strike out here. But yeah, number 7 did stump me. I will say that. Love the discussion videos. What inspired you to make the discussion videos? That's actually a good question. They actually came about because they were topics that I thought about discussing on the podcast, but because of time and whatnot, I decided against that. I'm still technically figuring out what the discussion videos should be. When I first started them, they were like this, where it was videoed and I would just talk about stuff like Knight Rider versus Street Hawk, or time travel, or smartphones, and it was stuff like that. Then, because it sort of became like my podcast in a way, where it's just like, here's some random topic that I'm thinking of, let's talk about it. I just started recording them in audio because, 1, it was a little easier, 2, it was a little easier, and 3, it kind of fit what with my original idea for. Like I said, I just thought of it as sort of an extension of the podcast. It was like a rant video without the yelling and a podcast at the same time. So that was sort of what my inspiration was for it. But I'm still evolving it and I'm still changing it up. So it's not 100% perfect yet. It's nowhere near what I'd like it to be. So it's definitely something that I am improving slowly. It's just over time. But thanks for loving them, by the way. I do enjoy making them. What do you think of the Jeffersons TV series? And this is actually one that, if anybody's been following the comments, I did actually ask for clarification. So this is the original one from the 70s. I didn't mind it. And I guess you could call that technically a spinoff, in a way. I didn't mind it. Then again, I didn't watch a lot of stuff from the 70s. I was born in 89, and when I watched it, it was in syndication. So it was like TV Land would have it on for their, hey, it's the summer of TV Land love marathons or something like that. Where it's like, here's a bunch of shows from the 70s and we'll pop on TV for you one night. Like, one night it'll be this series, one night it'll be this series. And that was how I watched it. The plot never really thrilled me, and don't want to sound like an insensitive person or anything. I just never got into the show. It just never thrilled me. But then again, at the time, I also was watching like cartoons. I think by the time I actually was watching the Jeffersons in syndication on TV Land, I was watching Malcolm in the Middle, The Simpsons, King of the Hill, cartoons out my ass, Nickelodeon, so many other shows that was just one of those. There really wasn't much that I could find interesting about it. And at the time, it's like, look, this is something that I can always come back to. I can always pick it up at a later date. This is something that I want to watch the minute it comes out. This is already something that's been out for a while. I can come back to this. This is something that's new. And for me, I think it was mostly just that. I never exactly got into it. I did watch some, but I just never got into it. I just never could. I don't know why. It never connected with me as a show. I don't know why. If you the apprentice of a monster, which would it be? I mean, physically a monster like a minotaur, hydra. It could be a monster from anything. Ooh, it could be an apprentice of a monster. Ooh, the apprentice of a monster. Ooh, that's a good question. Well, Hydra would be pretty cool because, at least with the Hydra, if its head gets chopped off, it just grows another one. That'd be pretty cool. Apprentice of a monster. Minotaur. That's a good question. That is a good question. Thinking. Thinking. I don't know. Probably an ogre or something. That would qualify as a monster. I mean, Minotaur. Minotaur's pretty cool, but I don't think I'd really like being an apprentice of a Minotaur. Centaur maybe. I don't really know. That's a good question. It's probably because I don't know that many monster categories. I wish I did, but I don't. I didn't play that many fantasy games that had those in. Most of the time, it was just their creatures. They didn't really classify them as monsters. Yeah, I actually don't know. The Hydra sounds pretty cool. Let's see, we got Hydra, Ghost, so many others. I really don't know. I honestly don't. Yeah, wow, I really don't know. That's sad. I really don't. Um, Shit. I don't. Yeah, okay. I got stumped twice. I mean, if I had to pick like a monster going by like physically a monster, Minotaur's not bad, but I'm not a huge fan of Minotaurs. Centaur maybe. If we're talking like giant bird type monster, I mean, if we're talking like the classification of monster in a general term, I mean, we're talking physically a monster, okay. But that just means that it's just called a monster. It's not the sub. Is it like a subclass of monster? Or are we talking full on class here? If we're talking like subclass, ogre, giants, golems, probably golems actually would probably be pretty cool. Stuff like that I would probably enjoy. Otherwise, yeah, I really wouldn't know yeah, I really wouldn't know. Basically, at that point, I would be stumped. So, yeah, I would say golems, I guess, then. I'd go with golems. They're kind of cool. I'd go with golems. So. Number 12, last and final question. And I will safely say this before I get into the last question here. This Q&A was a lot of fun. I have been stumped twice. Twice. Kudos. Either you're getting smarter or I'm getting dumber. I don't know. I don't know which. But thank you. I actually do enjoy the challenge. This is a lot of fun. What are your favorite types of jokes? The ones where you don't know the punchline's coming. That's my favorite type. There's an anime clip. There's an anime clip. I don't know what the name of the anime is. I just remember the clip popping up on YouTube, and I actually have it saved in my liked videos that I can pull it up whenever I want a good laugh. Basically, it's about this kid, his younger sister, and this other girl. And the younger sister is very protective of her older brother. So he starts liking this girl, and she's getting all defensive, like, oh no, Oniichan can't like him. No. So she tells him that the bath's soap, but he can go have a bath now. And she's on his phone, and she's like, oh, silly brother, you still have your birthday's your password, silly brother. And then she finds out that he's texting the girl, and it's like, oh, it's the girl. And the girl knows the sister is out to protect her brother. She thinks it's adorable, and all of a sudden she's screwing with her. And she's like, oh, well, she goes, oh, it's so cute. I forget what the name of the girl is. And she's going on about, oh, well, didn't our thing yesterday mean anything to you? And all of a sudden it's like, no, it meant nothing to me. Are you sure? I mean, I've only ever done it with, it was my first time. And all of a sudden it's like, the types of joke that it is basically, it's building the anticipation for the massive payoff that comes at the end of the clip. And it's really good. But basically, the girl's like, well, she's nonchalantly saying it in a way that she's like, well, why am I carrying this baby then? She's basically telling the younger sister that her older brother knocked her up, when in actuality, he didn't do shit. And she's literally messing with the girl. And all of a sudden, the girl's naively thinking, well, what, they just took a nap together? What's so weird about that? And going on the whole thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I've only ever done it. And she's like, well, then why am I carrying this baby? She's like, well, are you sure it's mine? Well, I've only ever done it with one other person. Why, oh, you? And it just freaks the living crap out of the girl. She just puts the phone down quietly. The older brother walks in and is like, wait, what are you doing on my phone? And the younger sister just walks out and just yelling for her mom and goes, "Mommy!" And I forget the older brother's name. She goes, older brother just made a baby, and all of a sudden he goes, "Wait, I did what now?" And it's just the anticipation and the building up of it was what I really liked. It's like those types of jokes where the anticipation builds and builds, and you know the punchline's coming, but you don't know when. So you just get this massive build-up for the punchline. And when it delivers hard and fast, it's like a perfect shot. It's like all of a sudden you've reached the apex and you're looking over just in time to like see the sunrise or something, or just in time to see the joke come to fruition. That's the type of jokes that I like. The ones that are just perfect. They're built up. That it's coming. I mean, like, it's a long string of jokes that are perfectly built up right to the moment. Bam! You get hit with the punchline. It nails you on the floor laughing. That's it. That is perfect. That's the type of joke that I like. But otherwise, it's stuff like that I kind of find it interesting. I mean, I'm not going to say, like, low-grade jokes, like knock. No, it's ones that really build up the anticipation. That's one of my favorite jokes. I have the clip. It's in my liked videos because I like looking at that so much. Just to pull it up from time to time and get a good laugh out of it. I still laugh about it even now. I think it's hilarious. But that, and also ones that kind of have like the facial expression, like one person's telling the joke to their buddy, and their buddy's just like, the look on their friend's face is like, okay, wait for it, and here, where the buddy's face just like goes, oh my god, what the hell, and just their eyes just start bugging out of their skull, like, you can't be serious. Yeah, those types of jokes I love too, where it's like the friend's just like completely like, no, yeah, those are good jokes. But yeah, that's actually about it. So that's all the questions. Thank you for submitting them. I do like the fact that I got stumped by 2 of them this month. Question number 7 and number 11. So thank you all very much for that. That actually was pretty cool. So I mean, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. So it is nice to occasionally get stumped on a question. I do appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, so before the stink bug tries to take over my room, little bastard that he is, let's check and see when we can do the next Q&A video here. That's not what I want to pull up. There's a calendar here. Okay, let's go down here to June. Okay, great. June ends on a fucking Tuesday. Figures. Okay. Have all your questions in by the 23rd of June at 12 a.m. I will record it that night, and it'll get put up either the 25th, 27th, or the 29th. Because I'll probably be back at work by then. So, yeah, 23rd, have your questions in by. We'll go with June 23rd. So 6/23, have all your questions in by. I'll probably have a thing in the description. But thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Andrew, and this has been the Web Designer 18 monthly Q&A video. Or as I like to call them, you ask them, I answer them. Bye, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. And thank you all for subscribing to the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel. Bye.